Welcome to Linden Hill Farm and Fiber Mill. My name is Cher. If it's your first time here, thanks so much for stopping by the channel. If you're a returning viewer, I thank you so much for coming back. Quick admin, if you are new and you're not a subscriber, I would love it if you would click the subscribe button. No cost to you, but really helps boost the channel. If you're watching on a mobile device, you can hit the drop down and leave a comment. Love to know what you're working on, where you're watching from, or any questions that you might have. If you want to hit that hype button, that really helps the channel out as well. And I always appreciate it if you want to comment or share any of the content. So we will get started today. I thought I'd pop in and just do an update on my summer whips. Some longer term than others, some very new, and including a new cast on. Before I get started and forget, what I'm wearing today is my Tolsta tee. This is a pattern by Rebecca Clow. I think I knit it last year. I knit it with Drops Bell in their black and white colorway. It's held up very well. It's a bamboo cotton, I think, bamboo cotton linen. Maybe, I'm not remembering, I'll put it here, blend, and very nice summer weight for the southeast part of the US where I am coming to you from. So it's definitely, and it's a DK weight, so it's definitely one I would use again. I've learned since, and Amber of A Lovely Day Knits has just done a comparison with Sanda's Garn Lena and Drops Bell, and talks about how she weaves in her ends to get a little bit, I mean, you can see a couple of it does show up within some of the striping. It's fine where it's solid, but where I did my short rows and stuff, you can tell a little bit. Otherwise, it's just a really nice, good wearing fabric, very affordable, which is lovely, particularly for a summer knit that you're probably not going to get quite as much wear out of. So yeah, it was a good pattern. I liked it. I liked the stripe sequence. I would do this a little differently next time. I don't like how I just have that one line of the white stripe, and I'm not exactly sure what I would do different, because I do like the contrast collar, but just figuring out maybe how the striping sequence sits, or changing the patterning a little bit would help that perhaps. So. What I am drinking, I'm breaking all the coffee rolls. This is later in the afternoon, and it's really my first. We had a new blend. So we have a local roastery near to us in Farmville, North Carolina, Lenoka Coffee Company. So this is a new blend that we haven't tried, San Juan del Rio Cocoa, with notes of brown sugar, dark chocolate, red apple. And it's a medium body, medium roast. I usually like really deep roast. It's from Nicaragua. Yeah, so it was very, very nice. So I had a cup of just black coffee to try out the new blend. And then I just wanted my almond creamer latte. So I'm going to have that while I sit here. Although you didn't need to know that it was the afternoon and I was breaking all the coffee rolls. I thought I would start with my oldest whip first. This is in a Daisy Said bag. I love all things sheep themed for my knitting whenever possible. And I am knitting, this is the Phoebe top, which is a pattern by Aimee Sher. I am knitting this in WoolDreamers Saona. Is that coming? I guess I am to put my glasses on to see if the screen is focusing. Hopefully it is. There we go. Yeah, so it's a 240 yards or 220 meters for 50 grams, and it's 50-50 wool cotton blend. This is the colorway 1985, which is a pretty blue. This will be an interesting comparison later to another 50-50 cotton wool blend. Maybe I'll leave that out, but slightly looser spun than the other one that I'm working with, I think, or actually slightly, I'm trying to remember, maybe we decided this one was tighter spun, like feels a little thinner. And this is where I am. This is a bottom-up pattern. It is actually knit in pieces, and I chose to knit it in the round. I know if you're a long-time viewer, you're completely not surprised by that. So here we have that. So I'm about, I'm getting pretty close to the sleeve split. I feel like it was needed like 10 inches or something like that. So this has just been good in the background since last summer. I just kind of got tired of it then, but I do enjoy the little cables. I think it's a 16 row repeat. So like you do need the chart, but once you're kind of in the rhythm, you only have to check it so often. I have my little row counter on here that sort of just helps me keep track. So I'd actually had left this one down at the mill, and I've just been working on it kind of in the background as a sort of travel project, but it's time to get it off the needle, so it'll start getting a little more attention here, I think, and get that one done, because I would like to have it for the summer. Let's see, next. So again, that was the Phoebe top by Aimee Sher. Oh, so I am going to do, so I'm unsure on this one if I'm going to do bust shaping. It does call for it, but I think with the cables, should do bust shaping, but I don't always have to. And I think that, I don't know, honestly, I don't know if I want to mess with it. I'm finding the pattern instructions a little bit complicated, and I probably made it worse by joining it in the round, because now I'm gonna have to really think about this shaping. But I figured once I got to the sleeve split, it wouldn't matter, I'd be knitting it flat anyway, so hopefully that won't backfire on me. So more to come, as always. Yeah. So my next work in progress, is my Salty Days sweater, and I'm doing this as a summer version. So I can pop it on a hanger here for you to see a little better. This is a pattern by Veronika Lindberg, and I believe done with this sleeve. I thought I would need 100 rounds. This was 80 rounds. And so I'm going to catch this one up, because with the cotton and the weight, when I put it on last night, it is definitely starting to look like definitely long enough if I hold it out. And with the drop shoulder, right, I think is coming up. So I'm undecided if I'm just going to, so I am doing this a little bit modified. The neckline is modified. I'm using a summer weight yarn, so it's a little bit lighter fabric. And I'm using most of the modifications that AKA Nora Knit has on her Ravelry project page for this pattern. I will update the things I did not do. I did it slightly different on my my neck bind off, and I'll do this slightly different on my sleeve bind off. I think I knit fully down through the body, and then I did a split hem with just, again, a rolled bind off. And then I'm doing I picked up a few more sleeve increases to make sure my sleeves are wide enough. They're plenty. It's very stretchy. And then I'm decreasing down to, I think, like 64 stitches. And then I'm just going to do it'll be like a bell sleeve, similar to how she did hers as well. I'm knitting this one up in Cestari Ashlon collection, which is a 70% cotton, 30% wool. And the color is Lilac. So again, enjoying that summer knit. I think this is going to be really nice, just as a pullover piece to throw on over a tank top or something with shorts when I'm running the grocery store. It gets a little chilly in the evening. That rarely happens where we live, but it could. Mainly it's dealing with the air conditioning. So that is where we are. This one should be off the needles very shortly. I know the right answer is to go ahead and block it before I finish the sleeve to really just see how much it's going to grow so I get it just right. I'm not particularly bothered by longer sleeves, and I don't like them too short, so we'll see. We'll see if I do that or not. I probably could, like, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I'll see if I do the right thing. So this is in a, and then here's the yarn. Cestari. It's not showing up. There we go. And it's nice. I quite like the yarn. I had knit something else with this yarn, or I have two. Yeah, I knit the Kitty Hawk tee earlier this summer in it, and it's quite nice. I think I like the lighter cotton more than the heavy. I mean, it does make for a heavy garment to have that much cotton in it. I certainly don't think I would enjoy 100% cotton. I don't find it bothers my hands to knit with, though, with just even that 30% wool added. So I do think that that is very helpful. So that is my summer edition Salty Days sweater by Veronika Lindberg. Next, I have, this will look really similar, but this is a pattern by Rachel Costello called the Aestiva tee. So I think I mentioned this on my last podcast. I cast it on. I sat with my mom and we picked a pattern out, and we picked this one. I tell you what, this is probably the most complex knitting pattern instructions I've ever had, but it is very well laid out. She's got it laid out in table, so it's the yoke shaping that's very it's very integrated. So you're doing about 3 things at the same time, which is what's going to give such nice shaping to the overall garment. So in this picture, I think you can see this kind of shape. It's got a saddle shoulder and then a slip stitch detail as well. You're shaping also the neckline. So you're doing the yoke, front and back yoke, the neckline, and the shoulder shaping, and that slip stitch detail all at the same time. And and she does have like a really nice diagram and sort of map and how to lay out your stitch markers. I even added a couple more to help me remember that slip stitch section. And it's not completely intuitive because the left and the right are not completely identical just by the way that it works up. I mean, they are at the end of the day, but the way you knit them, the markers are slightly different. So I just found I had to knit and count every row for that first however many 30 some odd rows in the yoke. And I'm very close to about 400 stitches I think now. So it was some work. It took me a while, and then I've kind of paused because I'm to the next section. I am knitting this up in Knitty, McPurly, Yarn Co. Virginia Woolen Spun. And this is produced by Cestari for her, and it is 50% American Rambouillet and 50% Virginia cotton. So it's a similar makeup to the Saona. As a matter of fact, let's see. This one is 380 yards to 100 grams. The Saona was 240 yards, so that would be 480. Yeah, so this one is a little plumper, and that's what we were seeing. I have a girlfriend, my knitting friend June is knitting something with this yarn base also. So it's a fingering weight, but lightly plump, I guess. And and the colorway is Fathom. So it is quite similar, actually, to the, just got another ball band, another skein wound up. It's actually pretty similar to the 1985 colorway. But I will say if I wasn't using, if I wanted a different colorway, there's a lot more colorways offered in the Virginia Woolen Spun line. So this happened to be the one Mom picked, and I really wanted to try the yarn. So I am finding it very, very nice, and I like the idea of supporting a regional, pretty local to me, both grown and processed. So here is, let's see if I've got on a little smaller needle, but here's where we are at. So I've got, I'm just through all of the yoke shapings. I guess, let's see, it's a little more like this here. So here's the back. You work this back panel. So here's a picture of the first blocking, which I did do. You work in that saddle detail, and then you're coming back in and picking up stitches. And so you actually start with a provisional cast on right here, and you're working your way out. It's a very interesting construction. And then, of course, you're shaping the shoulders, and I think it's too bad the hanger is not like shoulder shaped, but I think it's just going to have a really nice fit on the shoulders, right? So I'm excited. I'm really excited to be past the part that would seem so slow, but it was an interesting knit. Like, it was very engaging. And as I said again, that after I got past and kind of got those first couple rows and got the rhythm of the pattern, I found it fine. It just seemed slow because you had to pay attention and count, and there was a lot of stitches. But that's how you get really good knits, right? So I do think there's something to taking the time to do that. So I assume now that we've joined in the round, we will I'll have some detail. It'll be mainly, hopefully this gets to be a knit that I can just pick up and knit in the round, and then come back and do the sleeves, and that has that same sleeve detail. So that is where we are with the Aestiva tee by Rachel Costello. My last whip is a new cast on, and it is a test knit for Anniina Juuti. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And who has a lovely podcast. And I have watched her designs quite a bit over the years, and I've not ever knit one. And she needed, on her last podcast, she said she needed some of the larger sizes for her Wildvine tank test knit. And I thought, well, I need one more summer tank. And I kind of looked through my stash. I had hoped would have enough knitting for Olive pure silk for my, what's the redemption knit. I keep ripping that yarn out. I didn't have quite enough for this pattern, so I had a bag of Lindy chain, which is a Knit Picks fingering weight, 70% linen, 30% Pima cotton. So I'm holding this double, which was a struggle, but I've kind of settled into it. It's okay now. I did swatch because it's test knit. Yay. It was a little, so it's a lace pattern, as you can see. And I was slightly wide and short for the blocked swatch, but I could also manipulate it to get exactly it. So the lace is always a little stretchy, so I kind of consulted on it with the designer, and we decided I was good on my gauge. So I went ahead with that. So I am using the recommended needle size, which is a 4mm US 6 needle, I think. I say that now. I'm questioning. Is that correct? 3.75 US 5. Sorry. So it happens when you have too many things on your needles. So it's quite interesting. So you do the swatch, so you get a little bit of that pattern shaping, and then you're knitting a provisional cast on, and you knit the, let's see, here I am, back straps separately, and then you join them and you knit this back panel. And then now I've knit the one front strap I'm in the middle of knitting the second front strap, and it's really a lovely, like it's a lovely join. I know it's black and it's very hard to see, but it's nice fabric. I think it's going to be real interesting. I have not ever knit anything with linen. I wanted to try this. It's a little splitty, but not horrible. But I'll tell you, the combination of the black and then the lace stitch is it got a center double decrease in there. So there's a little bit of challenge there, particularly with holding the yarn double. But I do think it's going to be a really nice, I desperately need a black tank and a black cardigan in my knitted wardrobe. So I'm hoping this will spur me on. And she showed on her podcast this past week, she actually has a cardigan in the works. Whether I'll knit it with this or knit it with a maybe Holskarn Super Soft or something, I'm not sure. But anyway, it's nice now that, and then see, it's nice. You got kind of the rhythm of the pattern with the straps, and then you got a little bit here. It'll change slightly, obviously, in the round versus flat, but not substantially. It's 4-row repeat, so I'm finding it pretty rhythmic to do. I mean, you have to pay attention to your increases, but she's got some nice shaping. She has nice finished detail. You're getting some of your I-cord knit as you go. So I think it's going to be a really nice addition too. So I'm not sure if I'll wear like nude undergarments or black, or if I'll wear a tank under it. We'll see. It would be nice to have the airiness, but I don't know if I'm that chic. Anyway, so this is due in the middle of July, so I'm trying to keep really diligent. I'm finding where it seems slower at the beginning, now that I kind of have the stitch pattern in my head, that it's quite quick. I did the one strap yesterday and should finish the other one and be able to join it today, and I'm hoping to get it quickly to the work in the round and just, again, have something I can pick up and knit several rounds on it without having to. Everything I'm knitting now seems to have a chart or something I'm having to refer to, which is not as relaxing as I would love for some of my knits. So I actually did add, picked up a hat pattern and cast on. I had some Blarney woolen mill that I knit my Saglin sweater with. I just picked up and cast on. I haven't bought the pattern yet, but I'm looking at the Tromso hat by Johi Locatelli, which there's a lot of feedback on Ravelry that it's just super basic, but I don't know. I think Johi does a lot for the knitting community, so I don't mind paying to get the shaping part of the crown. And yeah, I mean, anybody can knit a ribbed hat, but it's the detail, and I think the detail of the hat is quite interesting. So we'll have that on a future episode. And I didn't knit it with one of our yarns, but anyway, that is where we are with the summer knits. So love to know what you have on your needles. Are you, if you're in the northern or even southern, maybe you're somebody who knits ahead and you're in the southern hemisphere and thinking ahead, or just finishing up. Love to know that. I certainly have some wool in the needles. I actually am finding I'm enjoying working on my dad's jumper in between these, because I do find the summer yarns, they're, again, with these blends, are not super hard on my hands. And the linen has enough give because of the lace pattern, that I'm finding that's okay. But I mean, I'm a woolly girl at heart. I like my woolly knits, so I am enjoying, and I've got a lot of things on small 3 and 4 and 5 needles, so being able to flip over and knit on some wool on those 5mm US 8 needles is quite nice, a little bit of a relief for my hands, and that's kind of why I cast the hat on too, just to have something I didn't have to think about, and you know, with a little bit larger needle, that gripping of those smaller needles, even though that's, I think, like a US 4-5 is, even 6 is a really my preferred knitting, but on up to like that 8. But I gotta tell you, I am not a chunky knit person. But I have knit so many small gauge things. When I got to the end of that Aestiva section the other day, I was like, I am ready for a chunky cardigan. And I do have one queued up that I'm kind of trying to hold off on until I get some of these other things done. But I have that ready for fall. So when I did this, you know, the last 2 years too. We have a very long warm weather season, so I really need some of these lighter, kind of more summer knits and transitional weather knits. But it's not my preferred knitting, you know, material, so it's always a little bit of a struggle to get it over with. But so yes, okay, I'm very close to time. So with that, I think I will close it out here. I'm sorry, it was just a quick one. Getting ready to run down, be in the mill this week, so lots to come there. So I would imagine the next video will be a vlog and show you a little bit more of the equipment and some of the stuff that we're processing. The pricing list is up, so if you're looking for fiber processing, you can find that at our website, lindenhillfarmsc.com. And with that, I will wish you happy knitting, spinning, dyeing, and weaving. Thanks so much, y'all. Bye.